The damp air of the basement clung to Rahul's skin, a cold reminder of the darkness that enveloped his life. At 9 years old, he had grown accustomed to the shadows that danced around him, often whispering tales of despair. With each passing day, the walls seemed to close in tighter, the air becoming heavier, suffocating him with memories of pain. His mother, Naya, had once been a loving figure, her laughter ringing through their small house like a sweet melody. But that laughter had been shattered the day she discovered his father, Arjun, in the arms of another woman. The betrayal twisted something deep within her, and in her rage, she directed all her fury towards the one person who reminded her of what she had lost. Rahul. "Get down there!" she would scream, her face contorted with anger as she hurled him into the basement. The door would slam shut, the lock clicking into place, sealing him away from the world. There, in the dim light, he awaited the inevitable her return, her wrath. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into years, but the cycle of abuse never ceased. Naya would often return to the basement with a twisted smile, her eyes glittering with a madness that frightened him. "You think you can escape, don't you?" she would taunt, dragging him out into the light only to unleash her fury once more. The beatings were brutal, each strike a reminder of her broken heart. He learned to hide his bruises beneath layers of clothing, to wear a mask of normalcy when he stepped outside. But even in school, the laughter of his classmates felt distant, a world he could no longer reach. He was an outcast, a shadow of the boy he once was. "Why doesn't anyone help me?" he would wonder, his heart heavy with despair. Each time he caught a glimpse of the outside world through the small basement window, he felt a flicker of hope. But that hope was often crushed under the weight of his mother's rage. Rahul knew he couldn't live like this forever. The thought of freedom consumed him, and he began to devise a plan. He watched his mother carefully, noting her routines, her moments of vulnerability. If he could just get past her, he could escape into the night. One fateful evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, he felt a surge of determination. Naya had been drinking wine, her laughter echoing through the house as she called out to friends on the phone. This was his chance. With trembling hands, he pushed the basement door, praying it wouldn't creak. It was quiet. Taking a deep breath, he slipped into the dimly lit hallway, his heart racing in his chest. Each step felt like a lifetime, the walls closing in around him as he crept toward the front door. But just as he reached for the handle, he heard the unmistakable sound of her footsteps behind him. Panic surged through him, and he darted back into the shadows. Naya was not just a mother, she was a predator, and he was her prey. Caught in her grasp, Rahul was dragged back to the basement, where punishment awaited him. Naya's anger was a storm, fierce and unrelenting. "You thought you could leave me," she screamed, her voice a piercing shriek. "You're mine, and you will never escape." The beatings were worse than ever, each strike a reminder of his failed attempt. He lay on the cold concrete floor, tears streaming down his face, his body a canvas of bruises. But deep within him, a flicker of hope remained. He knew he had to try again. Days turned into nights, and the cycle of torment continued. But with each passing moment, he grew stronger, his resolve hardening like steel. He would not let her win. One night, as he lay in the darkness of the basement, an idea struck him. He had seen a news report about a local police officer, Ajay Kumar, who was known for his dedication to helping children in distress. What if I could reach him? He thought, his heart racing at the possibility. In his mind, he crafted a plan. If he could escape, he would run to the police station, tell them everything, and finally be free. The thought filled him with a sense of purpose he had long forgotten. With renewed determination, Rahul waited for the next opportunity. When the sun set and Naya succumbed to her nightly routine of drinking, he made his move. Quietly, he crept up the stairs, his heart pounding in his chest. The door was still locked, but he had noticed that it had a small window. He took a deep breath and began to squeeze through, his body trembling with fear and anticipation. Freedom was so close he could taste it. With a final push, he tumbled out into the cool night air, gasping for breath. The stars twinkled above him, a beacon of hope. He ran with all his might, the wind whipping through his hair, the thrill of escape propelling him forward. As he reached the end of the street, he spotted a figure standing by a patrol car. It was Officer Ajay Kumar, his eyes scanning the area. "Help, please," Rahul cried out, his voice breaking with desperation. Ajay turned, his expression shifting from casual observance to immediate concern. "What's wrong, kid?" he asked, rushing forward. "My mother. She's hurting me. I need help," Rahul sobbed, the weight of his suffering pouring out of him like a broken dam. Without hesitation, Ajay took him by the shoulders, his eyes filled with compassion. "You're safe now," he assured, his voice steady. "Let's get you out of here." Maya was taken into custody, her anger and madness finally contained. As Rahul was led away from the house that had been his prison, he felt a strange mix of emotions: relief, joy, but also fear of what lay ahead. He had been freed from the shadows, but the scars of his past would take time to heal. He was placed in the care of his father, Arjun, who had been devastated to learn of his mother's actions. The reunion was strained, filled with unspoken words and lingering resentment. But for the first time in years, Rahul felt a glimmer of hope. He was no longer alone. As days turned into weeks, Rahul began to find solace in his new life. The trauma of his past still haunted him, but he was determined to forge a new path. With the support of counseling and the love of those around him, he started to rebuild his shattered spirit. Officer Ajay became a mentor to him, guiding him through the healing process. "You're stronger than you think, Rahul," he would often say, encouraging him to embrace his journey, and slowly he began to believe it. Though the shadows of silence would always linger in the corners of his mind, Rahul learned to confront them with courage. He realized that the past did not define him, it was merely a chapter in his story. With each passing day, he grew more resilient, more determined to live the life he deserved. He had escaped the darkness, and now, as he looked toward the future, he saw a world filled with possibilities. The struggle had been long and painful, but it had also forged him into a warrior, a survivor, and for that, he would always be grateful. Rahul's journey became a testament to the strength of the human spirit. He often shared his story, raising awareness about child abuse and the importance of speaking out. He became an advocate for other children in similar situations, reminding them that they were not alone and that hope could be found even in the darkest of places. The scars of his past would always remain, but they served as a reminder of how far he had come. And as he stood before a group of children, sharing his story of survival, he knew that he was no longer a victim. He was a beacon of hope, a light in the darkness for those still trapped in the shadows.